Yo, this is the OT99 Banter Room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Look, we're back again with another one. It's your boy Firms and it's NK, and we're here to talk about the latest trending news. Look, it's nothing surprising to be fair, but there's been a lot of smoke in the media today. We've heard it from your Fabrizios, we've heard it from the Times, BBC, everyone is reporting it. Jadon Sancho is trending. And you know what? We're here to talk about it, where you can hear it. You may not hear it first here, but you will hear the news that is in line with what is trending in the media. And we can get our thoughts, man. I would like to see yours in the comments. So look, let's talk about it. Obviously, we're going to talk about Jadon Sancho, and then there's going to be a little bit about Pogba as well, because obviously his situation's kind of lingering. So we'll get to talk about that. But let's start off with Jadon Sancho. So, NK, I've got this report which I pinged over to you. It came out not too long ago. I would say no more than a couple of hours ago. It's from the BBC. They say this. So it says the German club want 77.5 being Dortmund for the 21-year-old with an additional 4.25 million bonus payment on top. So in all, they want about, how much is that? 81 million. Yeah. Now, what I'm hearing is, well, kind of varies. So that I'm hearing that they want 95 million euros, which is equating to about 81 million pounds, and then an additional like 4 million pounds separate. So there's slight variances in the amount of money, but in the ballpark of, let's say, 81 million and then 5 million add-ons. That's what's the figure that's circulating. So it says BBC Sports understands that in addition to the fee not being high enough, United want to pay it over 5 years when Dortmund are only willing for it to extend to 4 years. So obviously you heard that Manchester United put in a bid. This bid got rejected. Dortmund's not happy that, one, with the fee, we came up short, even though Manchester United knew how much Dortmund wanted from probably back in like April. They made it clear. And two, they're not happy with the length of the repayment structure. So they want 4 years. We made a payment structure of like 5 years, whatever. So United, it goes on to say, United are now considering whether to revise their offer. The Old Trafford club will be keen to avoid repeat 12 months ago when they were given a fee by Dortmund for Sancho, then tried to reduce it, believing the Bundesliga side would eventually sell for a lower price. In the end, Dortmund refused to budge and Sancho remained where he was. So look, what is it? Well, it goes on to say, asked by BBC 5 Radio Live if playing in Germany has contributed to his success on the pitch, Sancho said it has definitely played a huge part, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it's gone into about Sancho's time at Dortmund in an interview. So basically, BBC's reporting, that we made an offer, a first official offer. And I think like we've been hearing a lot of stuff in the news about Manchester United, in discussions with the club. Manchester United has been in discussion with Sancho's agents, sorting out his personal terms. You heard now that's officially been agreed. 2026, that's all done and dusted. His wages seemingly, it's done and dusted as well. It's just this payment. Now, NK, look, the breaking news is, it sounds like it's getting closer. It sounds like Manchester United is putting in some work. Do you think that Manchester United, one, are doing the right thing in paying up to 100 million? I think it works out roughly, just under it in total. Or do you think that we should be spending this money elsewhere?
Well, I think they will. As I said, we need Sancho, we need Sancho. So, I mean, the whole negotiation that's kind of taking place now, it is normal. You never give nobody what they want. It's not just football too. It's like everywhere too. If someone say, hey, I'm selling this for this, you're going to go in for a lower offer until eventually you meet like where both of you just, want to meet. I think the only frustration side for my United fans that this still should have happened last season. So now we kind of like eager for the deal to kind of like be done and get over and done with it. Do we need to spend that much on one player? I think Sancho will be a great investment. I think it will be a great investment. Yes, certain areas of the pitch need to be kind of like need to be strengthened and everything. But as I said to you, this drill should have been done last season so that side could have been strengthened. But Yes, say what you want to say. I'll still buy him because it's gonna be like an investment for the next like what 10, 50 years at Manchester United. So yeah, I think eventually they will end up coming up with a figure that kind of suit like both parties. But yeah, everybody's gonna play hard to get. There's no rush to get a deal done because Sancho is already in the Euros anyway. So I see this deal going on for another like week or two in order to like finalize it.
So when I asked myself that question as well, like, one, I feel like he's gonna come, and I actually feel like there's a lot of noise coming out now, and I feel like Manchester United is acting fast in a way where they're almost telling me subliminally that they're trying to get the deal done before the Euros even starts, because there's been a lot of noise coming out from every single news article you can think on. And I'm thinking, if you're trying to take your time and relax with it, why would you be hearing this much noise of official bids even being made? Why wouldn't you just wait till the Euros is done anyway? Like, I don't know, but for me, I just feel like maybe they're trying to do this thing where they can try and get something done before the Euros starts off. But do you know what? Talking about Sancho and the sort of the price. So I said 100, it's not 100, it's about what, 81 plus 4 million or whatever. So 80, what's it, 5 or 6 million or whatever it is in total.
Yeah, 85, yeah.
Now, I feel like that's a good deal. I feel like obviously we're in a COVID market and people feel like, we should be getting it lower, and we probably should. And maybe, if it was any other team outside of Man United, they may be getting him for a lower fee because we always get taxed, it seems. But if you look at it from the grand scheme of things, I feel like you said, he's going to be a player that's going to be at Manchester United for the next 10 plus years. I feel like you're almost investing to save. I feel like regardless, if you look back at things over time, in the next 2-3 years, COVID sort of reduced and kind of, in the back burner, prices and the market will probably restore, if everything goes well. And then all of a sudden, you will start to see people that Sancho going for much more in terms of what we paid. You know what I mean? So I feel like maybe, it's not too bad. I feel like, but obviously people saying it in the context of that we need so many other positions in the team to be filled. Like, can you afford to be spending that much on him?
Yeah, I mean, everybody keep on talking about that, and it's not just in our clubs. A lot of clubs kind of like go like position to kind of like fill in, but we all just know you cannot strengthen all the position like in one transfer window. It's very, very hard nowadays to like do that with like the budget that most clubs kind of like get anyways. But I don't know, some of the prices that they put on this place are a bit kind of like ridiculous sometimes too. But with this Sancho deal, I feel like it makes sense because one, like he's been playing the Champions League for the last like 2-3 seasons, so he got Champions League experience. He's been playing in the national team too, so it's an England international too. He's going to the Euros too, so he got experience. I mean, guys like Jack Wilshere, people are talking about 100 million when they have never even played the Champions League, and he's even much older too than what they call it, Sancho too. So I don't know, with the deal, I feel if United can get it for 85 million, it will be what do you call it? It will be great success to Man United because they actually managed to get a good price for such a young, talented guy.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think, obviously, this deal was something that we tried to achieve last season. We didn't get over the line. We kind of looked silly. Luckily, Sancho wasn't too pissed at us because he's willing to engage in those discussions now, and his agents and his team, basically. So I'm happy for that. But I really would want to see how there's a change from last season to this season. Right now, I can't tell if there's been any change, but I would want to see change. I would like to see, your Murtos, your Fletchers, whoever's dealing with the sort of transfers, even the Glazers, whatever, fulfill their promises. And that's another thing as well. So I feel like there's a few things that it's given me encouragement, even though you can't really trust the Glazers and you can't really trust how they move in a transfer window. One of the things that's given me encouragement with how this contract looks and how, in terms of the negotiations versus last year, is that I think it was coming heavily down to, one, the price last year. We was just thinking, 110 million pounds is too much. And was also thinking about the structure of it. We wanted to pay a certain amount up front. They wanted a huge amount of that fee up front, and then it was just getting messy. United couldn't afford to do that. Now it seems like Dortmund are willing to take a payment structure which is spread out across years.
And
No.
you know what? One thing that I actually kind of like noticed about last season too is because I just kind of like thought by it just like the last few days too is I feel like last season too the deal would have been like this too, where we kind of like going with a bid and then they get rejected and eventually they do that. But what people just didn't realize is that because last season the season ended so I think between the end of the season and the beginning was just like a 5-week period. And remember, we play in the Europa League too. So we didn't have enough like preseason because let's face it, most clubs always wait to the end of the season before we start our transfer deal. I think between the Europa League semi-final that we did last season and the end at the start of the season, I think we only had like about 2 weeks. We have to start the season late. And once the season kind of like started, Dortmund just kind of said, hey, we don't want to kind of, there was not enough time for a lot of clubs to do their business. I feel like that's what affected like that because even right now, if Dortmund was to sell Sancho, they didn't have to go look for a replacement. They didn't have time last season to look for a replacement. So then they kind of had to play like a hardball to do. I feel like this season they've had time to know exactly who's going to come and replace Sancho when Sancho kind of like go. So that's why once they get the money, they go a long time too. They go between now all the way to like August to find a replacement and to also negotiate their own deal for the replacement too. So there's enough time to do that. Last summer, there was not enough time because between the end of the season and the beginning, there was not enough time for Manchester United to go in with like these different kind of like structures to be kind of like agreed and everything. Like this window, we got enough time. Like even though people like the noise are coming out now, everybody's saying, I still feel like this though is going to still drag on for the next like week or two, definitely.
I would not like that to drag out. I would hope we can get over the line because Manchester United, we do one deal at a time. So if we can get the deal done, then we've saved ourselves a couple of weeks or whatever it is, how many weeks we would have saved ourselves to focus on someone else, a centre back or a defensive midfielder. But the longer we drag this out, are we going to be, the longer it will take for us to start negotiations with other players, which, other priority positions, which we need. But you know what I mean? So, back to my point. So I think the other point I was making about obviously the payment structure being over 4 years, which makes it a little bit more beneficial for us in terms of how we pay them back. It's just, can we afford to give them like, 60 million and then the rest of the 30 million over 4 years, or how they'll want that, I don't know. But hopefully we can do something like that. And I think you mentioned that in one of the things that, you can give them like 60 million and then the rest over X number of years. That will help because then we'll have more cash, liquid, like tangible cash for us to do deals with other players. Secondly, the Glazers, the fan forum, man. So I know that, the Glazers have made promises to Manchester United fans before where they said, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And actually it fell on deaf ears. They didn't really do anything. But I do feel like this time is slightly different. Not a lot, maybe just slightly, because it's so fresh and it's so close to the transfer window. Like there's literally no time for anyone else to forget about anything. Like it's just so close. Like they said, they're going to invest in the stadium, which they're doing. They're gonna get the fans on board with this whole like having like rights to what happens in a club and having a say and all of these things that they made promises. And one of those promises as well was investing in the club's like signings and stuff like that, like players. It's just too short a notice for them to like get out of it. They went to the fan forum. It's written in black and white, and they could do it, but I just feel like it's too short notice for it to not trigger a reaction from a lot of Manchester United fans for them to be like, but you said this, what's happened? Do you know what I mean?
Right. So, but Sancho is not a promising investment. Sancho is part of the transfer budget. Look, you want to make a positive investment, you sign someone like Kane or Haaland for the Manchester United fund. That's a promising investment because Sancho was already part of our transfer budget anyways. We all knew that we were going to sign him like this summer, like because we were supposed to do it last summer. We couldn't have depth. Sancho is not part of like an investment signing. If you want to sign someone else, sign someone who was not part of the budget this summer. That's what you call an investment, The allocation of transfer budget is always part there, I think every season, most clubs kind of like put there. Last summer we spent almost like about 60 million net because we sold players too. The one before that, when we bought Maguire and Aaron Bissaka, we sold Lukaku too. So we didn't really spend that much money too. So United, I think like average, we'll be spending about 50 million per transfer window, like net.
So how much did we spend last season? So we spent about 8 million on Pelestri. Then we got Diallo total fee for about 40 million. I think up front we paid maybe like half of that, maybe like 20, but total's like 40. So that takes it up to almost 50. And then we brought in Cavani on a free, but his wages will probably equate to, I don't know how many more mil. And then there was Telles. I think we got Telles for something like, I can't remember now.
12 million or something
12,
like
13,
that.
Yeah, somewhere between 12.
And then Van der Beek too. But did we not sell players last season too?
Who did we sell last season?
I don't quite remember. But anyway, if you
spent a lot, because Van der Beek, it was 40 million on top of that. So if you add on Diallo, which is complete 40, we're still committed to that unless we sell him before that or something happens. Then you've got Donny Van der Beek, which is 40. That's 80 million already that you've committed to. Then you've got Palestri, which is 8 million. That's like you're almost in the region of 90 million. Then you got Telles, which is
like 12 million or so.
Let's just round up to 10. So Man United probably invested, not like giving away that cash straight away, like here's 100 million, but I think they committed to 100, like almost 100 million.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if we kind of like sell players or something like that last season. But I know the one before that, when that was one of our biggest like spending when we bought Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire, where we ended up selling Lukaku too for for 74 million or so. So if you done the net around that time, it kind of like balances it off. Last summer, I'm not quite sure who we sold, but I'm pretty sure we must have sold one or two players to offset the books a little bit too, because United never spent more than 100 million in one transfer window. We hardly do that. It's a long time since we've done that.
I'm literally trying to check who we. So we got Tahith Chong on loan. Who else? Lingard was on loan. Marcus Rojo. I don't know if we got anything from him if he went for free.
Rojo went for free. Mensah, we sold Mensah too. We sold Mensah to Bayer Leverkusen for like about 5 million euros or so. Yeah, I remember that. I don't think no major player left last summer though, to be honest. I said to you, last summer there was a short window to kind of like get a lot of stuff done. But anyway,
not much, It's all loan, really and truly. It's all loans. I don't think we made any significant sales. So we actually committed to it quite a bit last season. And maybe we would have been better off just getting Cavani, man, and just calling it a day, because he's the only one that seems to be getting game time. So we could have actually saved all of that money and probably got had a better chance of getting your Kanes or your Haalands alongside a Sancho, or even getting your DM, whether you're a fan of Ndidi, whether you're a fan of Declan Rice, whether you're a fan of Kessie, whoever, and Varane, or whoever you want to get. But do you know what I mean? I feel like we kind of panic buys and buys that are not like Palestri. I can't see any future for that guy coming into the team. He's on another loan now. Alaves or whatever wants to loan him out again. He's been loaned out. I can't see any future for him. I know we didn't buy him last summer, but there's all of these fringe players. We're buying players, but do we even have the confidence that I'm tired of all of these things there. You want to be buying players that you believe in, that can make it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said to you. Like, our transfers are just normally like well thought about at all. Like, like that guy that we bought from Uruguay. I don't know the thinking behind it. Like, I really don't know the thinking behind it. We bought him and then Oli said he was going to go to the first season, and then he came and then we realized that he was not good enough. I'm sure we got a lot of players in the academy that were better than him. To commit to paying 8 million for him was just such a big amount. And I don't know. I didn't even see a lot from him, even by looking at YouTube, to even know that he was that good, But anyway, it is our club and it's just how we do stuff anyway. It was just late. Like, it was just lazy research and just lazy from the whole recruitment department, to be honest with you.
I mean, the good thing about this, though, is obviously we've been hearing the news that Dortmund are really efficient with how they're doing their things. They set their deadline. They said, before they go off to their training camps, they're saying the 23rd of July, just seen it come up as well, is their deadline. So if Manchester United don't get the deal done before 23rd of July, then Sancho's staying. So for me, I'm happy that they've done that again, because it will be a repeat of last season, and we'll have egg on our faces again if we don't get over the line. So it leaves us with 23rd of. It's not long. It is not long. You're talking about like just what is it, a month? Just over a month. So I'm happy with that. So just over a month, we'll know whether he's coming to United or not. Then we can move on to other signings, because after the Euros, there's just limited time, and we haven't got all of that time in the world to be doing that. But you know what? Pogba. Moving on to Pogba. So Pogba is a guy that, you know, we said it before, he's on his last year of his contract, and we still haven't come to some sort of solution with his contract. Now, Pogba, you know, when he's on with the international team, he's a happy guy. He's always in front of the cameras. He talks a lot. Maybe he says too much. I think I even saw, did you see the interview where he was with the
Banter
and them?
I did.
And then they was like talking to me, you know, the language, French or whatever. They were saying how, you know, talking about transfers, like, would you like paraphrasing, would you like to come PSG? And he doesn't shun it. He just plays too much. But obviously, you know what stuff like that can do to diehard Manchester United fans, diehard Pogba fans, you know, that love him at Man United. So he adds fuel to the fire, and you know, that's just another way of him doing it, trying to maybe drum up interest. But you know, he came out, Pogba, and said today that there's not been any concrete proposals for Manchester United. Now, when I read that, and a lot of people be thinking like, but wait, what is Man United playing at? Like, why haven't you made these concrete proposals? And yeah, that's true. Why Manchester United left it to the last year of his contract to even be having these discussions? These things, if you're a serious club, you should be doing it when the guy's got 2 years left on his contract or something like that, to be having these conversations. And we probably tried, to be fair. It's just that Pogba wanted to leave. You can't really change nothing like that. You can't really do anything when it comes to that. But usually, if it's down to 2 years in his contract and he doesn't want to sign, then you need to make that decision to say, you know what, let's try and sell this guy or do something to get, you know, someone that wants to play for the club or get your money's worth, or whatever it is like that. But United are not efficient like that. But yeah, he says that there's not been any concrete proposals. In my mind, when I read that, I was just like, there has been discussions, and he knows that there's been discussions. There's no way he could tell me that United board has not been trying to communicate with his agent and him about a contract extension. It's just there's not been any formal offer. And I think those things and how they word things, like, I really do look at how they word things. When he said concrete proposal, okay, so did you get informal proposals then? Do you know what I mean? So I think that there's discussions going on, and I feel like there's been light discussions about, you know, what would it take to keep you here? And I think Pogba's probably saying, you know, these are the terms and conditions of me staying here. And whether Man United can fulfill that or not is another story, you know, and that could be involving Pogba saying, you know, I want 400 plus or even 500k a week, and you sign an X number of people, you know, and you doing this and you're doing that. Who knows? But anyway, with Pogba, what do you think with Pogba, man? Do you think Man United is better with him, without him? If he's asking for something like 4 plus 500,000k a week, is it something you feel like Manchester United should do?
This is a Pogba situation. I think both Pogba and Man United, we both kind of like playing poker. Everybody's kind of like bluffing at the moment to see who blink first, you know. United, I think United just know that Pogba don't really have a lot of like suitors at the moment. First of all, to like pay the transfer and also to offer him the transfer fee. I think if you're looking at personally, I feel like Pogba is trying to use PSG so that Man United can offer him more money, just like how Sergio Ramos kind of like did like with us, you know. I don't think going to Paris kind of like suit Pogba, because like a few years ago he made an interview saying all his family support like Marseille people, and then he does himself like playing for PSG at the moment. I feel like he's using PSG to lower United to give him a bigger transfer deal, you know. Because remember, like 2 seasons ago, when he knew, I think that time he was so sure Real Madrid or Barcelona were going to come in for the bid. So then he went to preseason, and then straight away he said, look, I need a new challenge. Because they were so sure someone was going to come in with money to come and buy him. Now he's learned his lesson to make sure that if he come and say something like that, when there are no currently guarantee like that, he's going to be in trouble. I feel he only got 2 choices right now. Either to go to Juventus or stay at Manchester United. I feel like both places like feel more home for him. right now, because the Spain move, he ain't gonna get a Spain move because both Real Madrid and what do you call it, Barcelona are they're not gonna pay the transfer fee, and they're not gonna give him that much wages that he wants, you know. And also he want to be like a superstar too, and I don't see him being a superstar in both of those teams. So I think he's gonna wait on United. He's just trying to play like a bluff game for them to kind of like use PSG to kind of like get a bigger contract for United. But as I told you from the beginning, I see the same thing that happened with De Gea happened with like Pogba too. He'll probably not get a new contract all the way to like November, you know, way deep into the season. That's when he's gonna get a new contract. And I see the same kind of a thing happen too. Like definitely see the same thing happen.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it'll come down to this. So let's say Pogba ends up leaving. Say if he was available now for free. I see Barcelona doing deals where it's just like they're very fringy type players, not really superstar type players. Real Madrid's not doing anything whatsoever at the minute. And you got PSG, which are chilling back, you know, trying to sort out Mbappe and them stuff like that. But if I was to think about who is more likely to get Pogba if he was to leave this season, Real Madrid couldn't do it. Barca couldn't do it. Juventus.
If they get Ronaldo off their wage bill, maybe, but still, I still don't see that happening too.
Do you know what the thing about Juventus is? Juventus has surprised me. So Juventus surprised me because over the years, you know, they got Higuain and all of these guys. Over the years, they bought players. And I thought, how have you generated that much money? You know, they spent huge money on Higuain. I swear it was like 70-something million or whatever. And then, you know, affording like Cristiano Ronaldo's wages, for example, now. I'm like, I didn't even think that they could do that then. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, but they surprised me. So I'm always a bit cautious when I say Juventus. Like, I know it would make sense for them to get Ronaldo off their books first in order to acquire someone like Pogba. But then again, it's just like, if they got rid of a couple of midfielders, which they've got already, they've got a whole lot of midfielders. What do you call it? Juventus, Ramsey, and all of these guys, right? Is he out there? You know,
yeah. But all of them deals, it came out to catch up to them, though. It came out to catch up to them. Really, it's come out to catch up to them. And I think because of the pandemic too, a lot of these guys cannot afford to do these deals too.
It might be coming up to. It might be biting them now. But at the time, I was thinking, you know, why do they need Ramsey? They got Rabiot. Like, why do they need this guy? They got that guy. And they always just seem to just get the players, you know what I mean? And they've been getting a lot of guys for free, which helps. But you know what I mean? Like, Pogba's going to be leaving for free. They like a free deal. And you know what I mean? It comes down to the wages. And somehow they managed to get it done. But I do agree that having Pogba and Ronaldo in the team, one's on like 400 or 500, especially if he leaves for free. If he left this season, maybe we'll get about 400, maybe close to that. If he left for free, you're probably talking about 500 plus.
Right.
So it's going to be even more difficult, especially if Ronaldo stays. No, how long has Ronaldo got? He's got one more year at Juventus. I don't know.
One more year. You got one more year. So
he will leave.
If it was to be next season, I feel like next season he will have a lot of like suitors, to be honest with you. But obviously there's going to be a lot of like money involved. But if you're not paying a transfer fee, it makes sense to kind of like pay him whatever he wants to. But then again, if you go to a club to like, Pogba can never go to Real Madrid and demand, because even Real Madrid, for example, they can even offer Varane more than 10 million euros for what he wants. And he's been a good servant for them too. So you cannot, what Pogba wants is Pogba want to be the highest paid player in whatever team he goes to, because that's what his agent believing that he can do. Unfortunately, he might be able to do that at Man United, but I feel like Man United board, I feel like, does he even deserve that at the moment though? Because, and that's what they are waiting for. They see us. If no one comes in and offer you the money that you want, you might not have no option but to stay here. And we are going to give you an increase of what you want, but we're not going to break the bank for you. And I feel like that's what United are just. It's same thing with like De Gea. De Gea wanted to leave, but obviously he couldn't just do that. But why we still have to give him like the 350,000 a week baffles me, because at that point he had nowhere to go. He literally had nowhere to go, and he would have accepted anything between 250 to 300. But I feel I see the same thing. United, I don't see Pogba leaving United for free. They will do everything to make sure they make him sign, and even try to sell him maybe a year or two. They can do a deal with him like, hey, if you sign and then we don't win nothing or so like that, we can sell you for this kind of like price. I really see them doing something like that with him.
Do you know what? Another thing, what you're talking about as well, like we're talking about the contract, right? If Pogba as well, I feel another thing is like if you're offering Pogba this type of money at Manchester United, 400 plus, Bruno Fernandes, who's definitely doing quite a lot for the club, arguably keeping us up in Champions League positions and all of this stuff. 2 years in a running now, has contributed, the most over the last couple of years. What is he going to be asking for? Right now, he's on peanuts. I don't know, maybe 100 and something K, whatever he's on.
Yeah.
His contract, obviously, it goes on to 2025 with an option to extend. So we're kind of in a really good position with him. But I don't see Man United saying we're going to wait to that before we have discussions. I really do feel like very soon, Bruno Fernandes and his agent's going to be knocking on the door saying, you know what, we deserve, to be reimbursed for what we feel like our value is worth to this team.
Yeah.
And you're looking at David De Gea, they're going to be like, I want to be valued as one of your most important players because I am. And you're looking at David De Gea on 375. Man United's probably trying to get rid of him for that very reason, because the impact it's having on other players. Then you've got Pogba saying what you want because of David De Gea now. I want 500 or whatever it is. He's going to want 400. It's trickling down. Do you know what I mean?
I think Pogba starts from what do you call it, Sanchez. Sanchez is what kind of like started this whole Pogba kind of like thing because at the moment Pogba wasn't he's not winning nothing at United anyways, and as a player, if you're not winning nothing at United too, you want something to kind of like bargain with. And I feel like that whole Sancho deal kind of like upset Pogba camp. Because I think around that time, United were in negotiating with him to try either get him a new contract or what, because Real Madrid and Barcelona that time they were literally making a lot of noise. United wanted to kind of like keep him, but obviously he had this problem with like Jose Mourinho that kind of like didn't kind of like go down well. But I think when Ole came in, kind of like made a lot of things kind of like settled down and everything. But Sanchez deal affected like the camp because with Bruno can come and Bruno can never command the kind of like wages that Pogba command because most of these places is about marketing too. What you don't know is Man United too. They do a lot of like commercial adverts with these players too. If you go watch like Man United like fan channels, they all this kind of like thing that they cars and stuff and they all do like advertising for these companies too. And as you know, Pogba is a very, very big influencer outside of football too. So in terms of that, anytime he does something, he's associated with Man United. So the market value to come with all this kind of like deal when you talk about wages too. So,
but it will drag it up. I mean, we got really lucky with Bruno Fernandes in a sense where we acted almost like a big club when we got Bruno Fernandes. We got him for a respectable fee and we've got him on a respectable wage. I'm so shocked because we moved like, we moved like how Liverpool move or Pep Guardiola City moves in a transfer window, how we've operated with Bruno Fernandes.
We didn't know. It took us a year and a half.
It took us a year and a half. Don't get it wrong. So that element of it, no. Man United, certain things don't change. But that fee, I was always comfortable with that fee. I was even confused why there was even such an argument about his fee because I thought it was low. I think it was like 30 something million at that time.
Yeah.
To whatever euros it is. I thought it was great. What's the long thing about? Why didn't anyone want to pay it? Almost went to Tottenham. They didn't want to pay. I didn't understand, especially with his output.
Tottenham paid. He just didn't want to go to Tottenham.
Just didn't want to go.
Yeah, he just didn't want to go to Tottenham. Tottenham paid. He just didn't want to go.
I'm happy, and his wages is good as well. I don't know what, but I think it's enough. I think last time I checked, it might be 100 and something, maybe 120. I don't know.
Yeah,
something like that. But obviously, you could see if we still got guys like Pogba and David De Gea doing a madness, even though Bruno's not marketable like that, those salaries would drag up.
Yeah,
Bruno's expectation of what he would want.
But with Pogba, we created a monster, and I feel like we're gonna create the same monster too with Sancho. Because let's face it, Pogba was good when he was at Juve, but he wasn't that much of a superstar. And when we got him, we made him a superstar, doing all this music video for him, helping him launch like his clothing line. We made him. That's when United became. We became more about commercial than winning trophies. And Pogba was like a brand for Man United because he was sponsored by Adidas, and we also sponsored by Adidas. So both of them kind of like put together, and we created a monster, to be honest, with him and his agents. And now it's kind of like coming back to kind of like bite us too. So I don't know, whatever they do, I feel like in the end they're gonna end up finding a solution to all this, but I feel like Pogba, it benefits him to stay in England than to move because his family is settled here and everything. And yeah, I don't know. His wife is Italian, so maybe it fit them to go there. But I don't see him going anywhere else except for like England or maybe Italy. I think the Spain thing is just kind of like out of the thing because now Spain, they don't do that when there's this big problem with taxes too, with a lot of like the Spanish players too. All of them, anytime they go there, they always have like problem with like taxes and everything. So I think he would try to avoid it. I think it's really between Man United and maybe going back to Juventus on a free transfer.
Look, there you have it, man. There you have it. Look, this is the OT99. You've heard it from me. You've heard it from NK. Look, Pogba, whether he leaves or stays, it's yet to be decided. But I would obviously like to see the best players remain at Manchester United. But at the same time, we don't want to keep a guy that's not happy at being at the club. We never did it. We never want to do it. You know, that's not the Fergie way, even though that guy's left. It's still in me. No player is bigger than the club. So if he wants to go, good riddance. You know what I mean? We bring in Grealish or something. You know the ones there. But do you know what? The smoke got served. You've heard our points. Let us know what your points are in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what topics you want us to discuss. All of that malarkey, we'll try our best to bring them up and have a conversation about it. But until then, it's the OT99 banter room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. We're out.